All right, Michael. Sorry about the shaky camera work, but this is my computer screen. I didn't do the entire lab with you, but all you got to do is get some numbers down. So these two squares here are kind of the most important thing. So I got the same thing going on that I had the other day where I had my plotted points. These are all my points here along the lines. You can see right there, this is like, that was around, I think 11.8 milliliters. This was 9.8, or no, that's 11.8. That's 13.8. That's 15.8. And then that's probably, what is that, 17.8 and so on. But we're using this thing to interpolate again. So we're trying to find out values. So we're using this equation here to help us determine the volume and pressure values. So you're seeing 7.30 milliliters if it's 149, and it's at 149.20 kilopascals. All right, so what I'm going to do here is just kind of follow along with the questions and that you probably have in front of you if you have the lab in front of you, and you should be good to go for the rest of the questions that go along with it. So let me first find the lab so I can kind of follow along with you. All right. All right, Michael. So the first thing you had to do for this procedure is you had to collect volume and pressure values. So what I did was I had the syringe attached to the gas sensor, and it started me off at 10 milliliters, and then so I had to move it down to 5 milliliters. And this 0.8 stuff is because the syringe has a certain odd shape to it that has some trapped in air that does not belong in part of the cylinder. So they had to account for that. So they put 0.8 in everything. Well, after that, you have all these pressures that go along with this. These are the numbers that you want to put into the data table that's on your information sheet that you're supposed to turn into me. And so, as far as the data that you're collecting here, that's the first thing to do for your lab procedure. All right, the next thing on the list to do is to answer some questions. Once you have that data table filled in, and I mean that part. I don't mean this column over here on your data table. I'm talking about these two columns you should have filled in by now. You can now answer the questions that are down below. So it says, with the best fit curve still displayed, choose interpolate from the Analyze menu. That's what I showed you before with the line that goes back and forth along the graph. And it says, the cursor's volume and pressure coordinates are displayed in the floating box. Move the cursor along the regression line until the volume value is 5 milliliters. And then it says, note the corresponding pressure value. Now move the cursor until the volume value is doubled. What does your data show happens to the pressure? So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to first take my line so it gets lined up for 5 milliliters. So I'm trying to get it as close as possible to 5 milliliters. And I know when I show you the data table, it's not going to be perfect. I'm sorry for the shakiness. Ah, come on, man. I had it right there. All right, so I got it on the 5. Now here's my little box. See how, oh my gosh, I bumped it with a piece of paper. So I put it to 5 one more time. And I got about 5 milliliters. You can see right there, it's 4.98742, blah, 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 blah. But you look at the pressure, you're going to note that it says 218.65. I would probably write that down and think about it here because I'm about to move it to 10 milliliters. So here it goes. I'm going to move it to 10 milliliters. And it's about 109. So think about this. We went from 5 milliliters and then we went up to 10. So we doubled the volume. What did we just do to the pressure? That's what you want to notice about the numbers. Think about it. We were at 218 and now we're at 109 kilopascals. So think about that, and then we're on to the next question. You can always rewind if you feel like I'm going too fast. So I go to the next question and it says, using the same technique in question number 1, what does your data show happens to the pressure if the volume is halved from 20 milliliters to 10 milliliters? So here's 20 milliliters. Right there. Come on. There's 20 milliliters approximately. You can see it's 19.97, but look at the pressure there. It's about 54.6. All right, now we're going to move it down to 10, I guess. Yes, 10 milliliters. Sorry, I'm moving around. 10 milliliters. Here it is, just like so. There's about 10. We're back down to 109. So or back up to 109. We just halved the volume. What happened to our pressure? We went from 54.6 to about 109.2. So think about that right there and see if you can explain that and put it into your own words. Then in number 3 it says, using the same technique in question 1, what does the data show happens to the pressure if you tripled? All right, so I went from 5 to 15. So one more time, here's 5. Just like so. That's close enough. 219, and we're going to triple the volume and tell me what happens to the pressure. So it went from 219 and we're going up to 15 mils. So here's 15 milliliters right there. We went down to 72 or 73 kilopascals now. So as we triple the volume, what happened to the pressure? That's what the question's asking for. Put it in your own words. After you've done that, I believe all the rest of your questions can be answered with what you have in front of you. So you have a graph. You don't need the graph to really answer it. You just think about what ideas you just thought about in the first 3 questions, and then from there I think you should be able to answer the questions. Keep in mind the variables that we were using here. We see the volume was going from 5.8 to 19.8. We had pressure going to 192 to about 54. So the pressure and the volume were changing, and after that, think about what else was going on in this experiment. I think that you should be able to answer the rest of the remaining questions. Remember, number 8 is not really anything to write because I believe you have to fill in. Number 8 is where you fill in the rest of that data table. The data table right here. So that thing right there is that question number 8, if I'm correct. Yep, I think that's number 8. Okay, so anyway, I think that's about it, Michael. I think you should be okay for the rest of this, and then when you get a chance, please give it to me so I can put it into the grade book as quickly as I can. All right, thanks. Take it easy. Enjoy the weekend.